Rand Paul is continuing spreading all sorts of misinformation about coronavirus. The latest example was while he was campaigning for a Republican candidate, congressional candidate in Virginia, Nick Veritas. And he first starts off with a statement about immunity. Let's hear what he has to say.
The president said the virus will go away. They mock him and make fun of him. The virus will go away.
Yes, thank you.
Every virus that's ever come has come and gone. Yes. Could it come back? Yes. But here's the good news, the other thing. They won't say one thing about immunity. I've had it.
Exactly.
I can't get it again. I can't give it to you. I can't get it. If they would admit that there's immunity, what could we do for our restaurants? Right. If I owned a restaurant, I'd have a whole wing for senior citizens or for anybody who is worried about getting sick. Right. And I would say all my servers have already had it. Right. If I had a cruise ship, I'd hire everybody, no exceptions. Everybody would have had the infection that works on the boat. There's all kinds of ways we can use immunity to our advantage, but nobody's admitting it. Every day they come up to me in the hall, and these little reporters will go, how do you know you're immune? And we heard one person had it. All right, they had the evidence of one person out of 8 million people who they think had it twice. That sounds like the exception to the rule, not the rule.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us misinformation that threatens our lives. Awesome. Now, the truth is, the question of immunity doesn't really work the way that Rand Paul believes it does. When you get coronavirus, it doesn't mean that you're immune from coronavirus for the rest of your life. In fact, there's some new information, some new data from actual medical professionals who know what they're talking about, know what they're studying. And I wanna give you those results because it's important to understand how immunity works in regard to coronavirus. So British scientists have found that the number of people testing positive for antibodies has fallen by 26% over 3 months, raising questions about long-term protection from the virus. Latest data from the REACT-2 study published on Tuesday showed that in a random sample of more than 365,000 adults in the UK from June to September, the presence of antibodies fell for all age groups. It fell from 6% to 4.4% over that time. So what does that mean? That means that after you get coronavirus and recover from it for some period of time, it is unlikely that you will get reinfected with the virus. However, it doesn't mean that you have that immunity for the rest of your life. You can get reinfected by it. Asymptomatic cases actually had a more rapid decline in antibodies, according to Helen Ward, professor of public health at Imperial College in London. Younger people had a higher level of antibodies and a slower decline, while older people had a lower level of antibodies to begin with. So there's still a lot that's being studied about this virus. There's still a lot that scientists and medical professionals don't know about how the immunity works. It's kind of like getting a flu vaccine, right? You get a flu vaccine every year because a one-time flu vaccine doesn't protect you from the flu for the rest of your life. But anyway, Rand Paul out there spreading all sorts of misinformation while he gets all these snaps from people in the audience who have no idea that this kind of misinformation is actually gonna put their own lives at risk.
He also said cloth masks don't work, and 97% of the time, it's a number he made up. It's not true. So, and look, at a bare minimum, he's gotta be careful to be clear in what he's saying. When he says cloth masks don't work, what his audience is gonna hear is masks don't work. No, yes, the medical masks are better. They work better. The cloth masks don't work as well, but do they work? Yes, they definitely prevent it from if you sneeze, for example, your radius for what you'll spread out is far worse if you're not wearing any mask at all. So try to wear one that is a medical mask, that's better, but he doesn't give that kind of clarity. Now on this immunity stuff, look, if he said, it looks like you might be immune for a while, you don't stay immune forever, and it depends on the circumstances. So, your chance of spreading it, if you already had it once and have recovered, is lower. That's fair, that's true, right? But he doesn't say it that way. He says, I'm immune. But wait a minute, you got it back in March. We know for a fact that people have gotten it again in a shorter period of time. So that means by definition, you are not immune, right? Now, it might be that he's immune for a longer period of time because of his particular genetic makeup and how his body reacted to it. But that again goes to the point, which is different people react in different ways. They have certain level of antibodies to begin with, and some people go through their antibodies quicker, and it also depends on how much of the virus you're in contact with. So you might have some antibodies, but the virus might overwhelm it. So if you gave information that's balanced and said, look, if you already got sick, you shouldn't be as worried if you've recovered already, I think that is fair. If you're going around telling people, don't worry about it, you're immune, well, that's misinformation and can hurt them. And now why is he doing that right before an election? Because he cares more about the election than he cares about your health. Look, there's a lot of politicians that are not that bright. I actually don't think Rand Paul is one of them. I think Rand Paul actually does know the facts, but he's choosing to rile up that crowd to stoke those Republican fires of the media and the Democrats are oppressing you with the masks and this virus, and don't worry about it. And go vote for Republicans because we're right that you shouldn't take as many precautions. And it's super dangerous. And look, I think the best point's the one Anna made about the flu shot. You all know the reason you get the flu shot is that you don't get it in flu season. You are immune to some degree for that season. In fact, I got the flu shot this year and got the flu anyway. It doesn't work every time. By now, we're all familiar with that, right? And you need to get the flu shot again next year. Why? Because your immunity has worn off. Now, coronavirus is very similar to that. Did it sound like that's what Rand Paul was saying? No. They're misleading you on purpose for political reasons. And in this case, it's literally sick. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.